The name's Neon. CageNeon. Let me take you back to 2004. One of the greatest years in gaming history with banger after banger, and James Bond was on a bit of a hiatus. After 2002's Die Another Day reaching financial success, however, mixed reception due to its wackiness.
Who sent you?
Your mama.
It looked like Pierce Brosnan, the second best Bond and my personal favorite, being the suit-wearing secret agent was coming to an end. Then suddenly, EA, before they were decided to develop and release 007 Everything or Nothing for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube with a handheld release as well. An all-star cast and Mr. Brosnan being Bond for the final time in video game format, this game was absolutely awesome. But how does it hold up after 22 years? Well, get your Walther PPK armed, your suits ready, and your dried martini shaken, not stirred, as we talk about one of the best games in the James Bond mythos. This is 007, Everything or Nothing. Before I go in depth about this game, I just gotta throw this out here. I've been playing 007 First Light, and man, that's a damn good game. This isn't a sponsorship video, even though I would love to, IO, please. But I just have to say, if you love Hitman and James Bond, go ahead and get a copy and have a great time. It tells a good story as to how Bond got the 00 status, and the adventure itself was definitely worth it. Okay, that's enough shilling. Let's talk about what you clicked for. 007 Everything or Nothing, the fun and popular third-person shooter developed by EA Redwood Shores, which would then turn into Visceral Games. And we all know about Visceral, don't we? This game was released in February 17th, 2004 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, as well as a Game Boy Advance version that I haven't played yet. It features Pierce Brosnan reprising the role as James Bond for the final time, which many fans consider his true final outing for the titular character, as well as this being considered a sequel to Die Another Day. And I can't blame them, because if Die Another Day was his last appearance, oof. And for the record, I don't hate that movie, but it was definitely in the levels of Moonraker for its insanity. The game also features an all-star cast with Dame Judi Dench and John Cleese reprising their roles for M and Q respectively. Shannon Elizabeth, which I won't lie, it looks like she doesn't want to be there, or that's just how Shannon Elizabeth looks. I'm sorry, I loved you in American Pie, but I just don't know. Maya, who did the theme song, God bless her, and is trying her best to voice act.
Sorry to keep you hanging like this.
You're awfully sure of yourself, aren't you?
Well, I find that a positive outlook is helpful in our line of work. Don't you agree?
It can't hurt. Let's go.
Masaki Ito, Heidi Klum, Willem Dafoe, and freaking Jaws, dude. The fact that they had Richard Kiel come back for Jaws. That's a 10 out of 10 game. The story of the game is very simple. James Bond stopping terrorists from using nanomachines. Okay, that's simple enough. Oh, and the villain is a student of Max Zorin from A View to a Kill. Wait, a villain from the Roger Craig era is bleeding into the Brosnan era? Well, technically too, because Jaws was in The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. How the hell does that work? Just run with it. Alright. The game was featured with a decent collection of weapons followed by vehicle segments mixed in and a multiplayer mode. Sadly, this multiplayer mode wasn't as good as the previous game Nightfire for one reason. It didn't have bots. And for an only child that doesn't have that many friends that goes around to his house, having bots added in multiplayer is just an incredible feeling, and I personally wish more shooters back in the day had that. So to see bots removed from Everything or Nothing, it's kind of a shame if I'm honest with you. After replaying this game from the beginning to end for this video, I guess the question that we're left to ask is, how does it hold up in 2026? Well, This game is still fucking awesome. Call me a nostalgia merchant. That's what this channel is about anyway. But after all these years, Everything or Nothing still holds well in my opinion. But there are some glaring issues that even I have to address. First off, the gameplay still feels really well done. This was the first third-person game since Tomorrow Never Dies, and we do not talk about that abomination. Apparently, the devs was to make the player feel like Bond, although you were Bond in the previous titles. But in their mindset, you weren't actually him because you couldn't see him. So they figured making the game third person so you can see James can make you feel like 007. And I get where they're coming from. So their decision to make a third-person game worked in their favor. The weapons feel very punchy and satisfying to use, as well as hand-to-hand combat.
Bond, you can dispatch your enemies non-lethally with hand-to-hand combat.
The set pieces that happen quite often in the game are just perfect for the shot of adrenaline in an adrenaline-heavy game. Bond moments make a return, which were very satisfying to do. Bond moments, if you don't know, are little hidden set pieces that are added in the game, which are totally your option to do or not when you find it. It's to eliminate enemies in a unique way or interact with something or someone. Basically, if it's something you would expect Bond to do, and once performed, you get the logo to show up on the screen with a pretty cool sound effect to follow up.
Treatment today. Oh my. We've learned a few new tricks, haven't we? Could you be a dear and get me a drink, please?
Going back to the weapons, there are about 20 weapons and gadgets total, and all of them will be used in some way. It was also a very nice touch to use objects if you don't feel like using up ammo for your weapon. And speaking of ammo, one negative that I have to give this game is the lack of ammo in the game itself. I swear, it's like you pick up ammo every 10 seconds. Don't get me wrong, I'm that type of player that reloads after 5 shots at least, but it always feels like I'm running around trying to find a weapon on the ground to grab ammo. I'm not asking for an unlimited supply at all, but they could have extended the amount you need before it's considered full. I should also bring up the fact that gadgets, while fun, are a bit bland and small. The Q Spider I think is amazing because you can control it, you can make it go under vents to help you unlock places that you normally can't. It can also help you get the jump on enemies with its detonation that you unlock later in the story through an upgrade. There's a flashbang grenade, an EMP grenade, a regular grenade that are disguised as coins, which is very on brand for James Bond. The usual thermal vision and a nano suit, which is used for cloaking. And I will not lie to you, this gadget sucks. The battery drains very fast and you can only really use it when you're crouched. If you shoot, attack, you so much as sneeze or look at someone funny while this thing is activated, your cloak wears out and you will be spotted. Personally, I think it's a waste of tech. I think another negative that I can give this game personally is the driving sections. There are actual levels filled with driving in this game, and for me personally, I thought that was the worst in the game. Maybe it was because of what I was playing, maybe it's because my driving is just ass, or the controls were just a little too sensitive. I personally believe it's the latter. Something about driving in this game just did not feel fun at all. It felt more like a chore, like I was being punished for dealing with some high octane action, some crazy stuff, so they had to slow the game down with driving sections that I just felt, I'm not gonna say misplaced, I just felt not heavily developed the way that I was hoping for. And maybe I thought I was nostalgia goggles. Maybe I thought as a kid, I thought this was great, but when I think about it, as a kid, I didn't really like the driving mechanics back then, so I guess nothing really changed. And from what I heard, I could be wrong, but apparently this engine was based off of a Need for Speed engine, or the dev team that worked on Everything or Nothing worked on Hot Pursuit, the original Hot Pursuit. And if that's the case, what happened? What I do like though is the inventory screen. It's used as a mechanic in itself. It heavily slows down the game while you select your weapon or gadget, and it will help you spot and aim at things you normally couldn't. A big help when trying to perform Bond moments, and the slow motion is pretty cool. And as for the acting is okay.
So all I have to do is switch places with one of the drivers.
Even if you could, what makes you think you can win?
I can't afford to lose.
All right, I'll be honest. Besides Willem Dafoe, who was clearly enjoying the role as the villain,
And as for you, Mr. Bond, grab him, throw him into the bottom of a missile silo, and let him experience hell on earth.
everybody else is either doing okay or they're going way over the top. I understand it's 007 pre-Daniel Craig in a video game. You kind of have to be over the top, but at least make it sound fun or convincing, which again, Willem Dafoe is doing that perfectly. Even Mr. Brosnan, who is playing Bond himself for the final time, he just sounds like he's just reading the script. He doesn't seem interested at all.
I think we're outnumbered here.
But not entirely out of luck. Forgive me, Q.
But that's not something I can really let out as a negative. Truly, it's more just an observation. But it's the least bad compared to, as I said, Maya.
Thank you for saving my life.
Perhaps you can return the favor sometime.
Who's keeping score? Come inside.
Which I guess I will give you a pass because you did do the theme song and she is a baddie still to this day. My issue, though, goes to Heidi Klum.
You're trapped, Bond. You can't win. Kill him!
The less I say about her, the better.
I think she's fallen for you, James.
Overall, I had a great time going back to one of my favorite Bond games. If I had to make a ranking, I would put it at A tier. It's not the best. I still think that crown belongs to two games, being GoldenEye and Nightfire. Yeah, I know people want to have this story now about how GoldenEye isn't as good as everybody says it is. I saw someone on Twitter say that GoldenEye is overrated. And to you, I'm like, I don't care. I will say though, it would have been great or hilarious if they made this a final true movie for Mr. Brosnan. If they decided to do that instead of making a game, I definitely would have paid a ticket for as crazy or batshit insane it would have been. And I know for a fact they would have had that insane CGI like they did in Die Another Day. But for what it is, I think they nailed it. And the dev team definitely improved heavily with the follow-up game the next year being a video game adaptation of a popular classic Bond movie, From Russia with Love, one of the best Bond games out there, which I could talk about in the future.
What happened?
They fell for each other.
And what about us? Oh, James. What was that for?
Call it a hint of bigger things to come.
Well, that's about all I have today. I better return the equipment to Q. If you guys enjoyed the video, then please like, comment, subscribe. Also hit that bell notification icon to receive updates on my next uploads. And I promise you, this next video, it's gonna be crazy. But until then, my name is Cage. I'm a James Bond fan. I'm just a gamer in general. And I'll see you beautiful people later. Peace.
Swiss cheese, counterfeit, these nigga bitches. I'm talking about running off with pounds, man, you know I'm with it. I'm talking about chop 100 round, man, they get the flipping.